Vaping to quit smoking has become the default plan for millions of people, and the pitch is seductive. The same hit, none of the smoke, sold to you as a clean upgrade. I am not going to spend this video litigating exactly how harmful vaping is, and here's the honest reason why. Nobody fully knows yet. It is a relatively new product. Its long-term effects are still being studied. It is certainly not harmless, and what you are inhaling is not the harmless water vapor the marketing implies. On top of that, most people never switch cleanly. They end up running cigarettes and vapes side by side, and that kind of dual use is not some safe halfway house. It may carry serious risks of its own. So no, you will not hear me call vaping a healthy choice. But honestly, the harm argument is almost a distraction, because there is a deeper problem that holds true even in the best case. Helping you stop smoking cigarettes and actually solving your problem are two very different achievements, and vaping can sometimes manage the first while doing almost nothing about the second. So, what is the actual problem? It was never the cigarette as an object. The paper, the tobacco, the flame, none of that was the thing that had a hold on you. The thing holding you is the dependence, and dependence comes in two halves. There is the chemical half, where your brain is wired to expect regular hits of nicotine, and there is the psychological half, the reflex that reaches for that hit whenever you are stressed, bored, social, or simply out of habit. Quitting in any real sense means dissolving both. And here is the uncomfortable part about vaping. It leaves both of them perfectly intact. You are still feeding the same nicotine receptors on the same schedule and still running the exact same reflex, just aimed at a different gadget. In some ways, the gadget is built to dig the dependence in deeper. A cigarette at least ends. You finish it, you stub it out, there is a natural pause built in. A vape has no such stopping point. You can sip it quietly at your desk, in your car, in bed, in 100 places you could never light up all day, with nothing telling you when to stop. So the dependence does not merely survive the switch, it often spreads into more of your day than smoking ever did. And the numbers back this up. Most people who do succeed in dropping cigarettes by switching to vaping simply go on vaping for the long haul, the addiction quietly rebadged. A large share never fully leave cigarettes at all and become dual users, running both at once. And there is now a growing crowd of vapers trying to work out how to quit vaping, having swapped one thing they could not put down for another. And if you are tempted to think at least it is a step in the right direction, be careful with that story, because for most people it is not a move toward freedom. It is a sideways shuffle into a new dependence that grips just as hard and is far more convenient to feed. If your goal was to actually be free, to not be ruled by a craving at all, then trading the cigarette for a vape only moves the leash into a different hand, which reframes the whole exercise. If you switched and you are still reaching for nicotine every hour, you did not fail to quit. You succeeded at the wrong target. You aimed everything at the cigarette, when the cigarette was only ever the symptom. The best way to stop smoking was never about finding a tidier source of nicotine, it was about not needing one. And this is the blind spot vaping shares with almost every mainstream option. Step back and look at the whole shelf of stop smoking aids, the patches, the gum, the lozenges, and now the vape. And you will notice they are all variations on a single idea, which is to keep the nicotine flowing and just tidy up the delivery. The structured routes inherit the same assumption, whether they are sold as stop smoking programs or as clinical smoking cessation programs, and the quit smoking aids a clinician reaches for first are mostly nicotine in a friendlier wrapper. Every one of these smoking cessation aids is trying to make the addiction more comfortable to carry. Not one of them is trying to help you set it down. The only thing that actually ends it is to remove the dependence itself, and that works on two levels. On the surface, cognitive behavioral therapy and rational emotive behavior therapy take the beliefs that keep you hooked, the quiet conviction that you need nicotine in some form to cope, and dismantle them piece by piece. Underneath, where the reflex runs on autopilot, hypnotherapy to quit smoking uses calm guided audio to reach the wiring that argument never touches. On its own, hypnotherapy to quit smoking is no miracle, just the right tool for the layer logic cannot get to. The clearest build of this I have found is a 6-day program called Quit Sure. It is a genuine quit smoking program, not a nicotine dispenser and not a tracker. The rare cessation program whose whole job is to end the dependence rather than relocate it. It comes from Stanford, IIT, and IIM alumni who used to smoke themselves, which probably explains why it talks to you like a person rather than a patient. And here's the part that surprises people. It does not ask you to quit on day one, and it does not hand you a substitute to puff on instead. You keep smoking your normal cigarettes right through the first days of the Quit Sure program, on purpose and with full attention, until the desire itself burns down to nothing, so that there is simply nothing left to transfer onto another device. It is also a needle in a haystack, because the category is mostly noise. Any app store will bear you in smoking cessation apps, the bulk of them nothing more than counters. You flick past one stop smoking app after another, a conveyor belt of apps to stop smoking that all blur together. Plenty are free, and a free quit smoking app feels like easy savings, until you realize it is mainly a streak you will eventually feel bad about breaking. So, the question that matters is not whether a quit smoking app exists, it is whether one has a real method behind the icon. A smoking cessation app rooted in genuine, tested psychology is the only kind worth weighing when you are choosing the best app to quit smoking. And it is backed by more than confidence. QuitSure's results cleared peer review in the JMIR journals, the Journal of Medical Internet Research, which recorded an 80.1% success rate among program completers at the 30-day mark. Weigh that honestly, though, because the success belongs to the people who finished all 6 days, not to anyone who downloaded it and drifted away. With over 3 million downloads on the board, it is a figure a great many people have already tried out for themselves. So, to bring it back around, why does vaping fail to solve the actual problem, even when it does help someone put cigarettes down? Because the cigarette was only ever the container. The thing you were trying to escape was the dependence inside it. And vaping pours that dependence into a sleeker, more convenient cup you can sip from anywhere, all day, potentially for years. You did not lose the addiction, you rehomed it. Real freedom is not a more convenient way to stay hooked. It is not being hooked at all, and that only happens when you dismantle the wanting instead of redirecting it. That is the best way to stop smoking, ending the dependence rather than rebottling it. If you want to see what that actually looks like, QuitSure is in the app stores with the link in the description below.